welcome to another episode of the IT Show. Woo woo! So, today's special guest, I'm sure you met her before in my previous episode. If you haven't, please go and watch it. But for now, for those that haven't watched it, please can you introduce yourself?
Hi people, my name is Uwa and I'm Tuan's sister.
My sister. So today, today's episode is, I'll say, career oriented. So I'm just going to ask you some questions, and well, hopefully you guys learn from it, and I learn from it as well. At least you enjoy it. So, can you tell us a bit about what you do?
Okay, I work as a drilling engineer. I've worked as a drilling engineer for 5 years in an oil and gas company. Prior to that, I worked as a technical sales engineer in an oil and gas servicing company, and really that's how I got into the oil and gas sector.
Okay, so what do drilling engineers do?
I get that question a lot of the time, yeah. So drilling engineers are basically in charge of designing and executing oil and gas wells. So you have wells offshore, you have shallow wells, and you have land wells as well. So what we do is that we design these wells, and then on the field you have a drilling supervisor there who goes out to execute this well, and that's how we get the oil on surface.
So when you say execute, I mean, I know you're not actually drilling, but when you say execute, what's that?
So it means going to drill the wells, literally. So you have a lot of people, so it's not just one person that does the drilling. So you have a host of different companies providing different services, and they all work together to drill these wells. So you have what you call a drilling company who has a rig, and use these rigs to drill the wells.
Okay, I guess now I know a bit about what drilling engineering is. So, did you always want to do this? Tell us about your background.
Well, if you had asked me about 10 years ago that I'd be a drilling engineer, I'd have told you no.
Why?
Because I didn't know what drilling engineering was at all. It was very big to me. But I started out as a chemical engineer, and I remember in SS3 when I was feeling jam form, I was a bit confused on what I wanted to study.
Yeah, I think in Nigeria it's really confusing because you just have to make that decision that is for the rest of your life.
Exactly. And I'm from a medical family, so my parents are doctors, and my older siblings, I have two older siblings, a sister and a brother, and both of them are doctors. But for some reason, thinking back now, I don't really know what it was, but I knew I wasn't really as interested in medicine. I wanted to do something different, but I really didn't know what I wanted to do. I had thought accounting at some point, but I liked economics, but it wasn't really my thing. So I was still thinking back and forth about it. I knew I was really good at math. I liked further math. I was good at chemistry also, and I liked physics was okay. I wasn't fantastic. I didn't really love it, but it was okay. So at that time, I remember speaking to my mom, and she took me. I had an uncle who was into engineering. He was really passionate about engineering. So I had a session with him where he talked to me about the different opportunities a chemical engineer could have to work in different industries. So that intrigued me. But I was also hesitant because I didn't really have a lot of female engineering role models to look up to, so I didn't know what that industry held for females. But luckily at that point, I also had a cousin who was studying chemical engineering in the United States, and I called her up and we had a lengthy conversation, and she took me through everything. And really, after that conversation with her, I decided I wanted to do chemical engineering.
Wow. Sounds like you thought it, but you actually did a lot of thinking. I think I just said I wanted to read electrical engineering because you had done engineering. Everyone was like, okay, go on. Funny enough, I actually remember you telling mommy and daddy that you don't know what you want to read, but you're not reading medicine. Nobody should make me read medicine. I can't remember that. I can't remember that. So, I mean, I have a question. Did you face any resistance from anyone while studying engineering?
No.
Yeah, your story sounds like you were really in.
No,
Yeah,
no. My parents were very supportive at that point, and I really didn't. I got some comments. Oh, yeah, girl, why are you reading engineering? I got a few of those comments, but it didn't really faze me at all. So I didn't really have much resistance.
That's good. So how was it going through engineering in school? What was your experience like?
It was interesting. So I think it's both ways. It's being in university for the first time, being away from home, living away from home, and then in engineering. So I remember the first day I went to class. Wow, I'd never seen so many guys in one place at one time. I mean,
it
was a bit
overwhelming. School?
Yeah, it was a bit overwhelming because in a mixed school, I mean, you see a lot of girls at the same time. But I remember if you went to Uniben D01, that was our class then, and it was just a bunch of guys. But luckily for me, I found some ladies, and then we became very close friends. So we actually formed like I don't know if I'll call it a clique, but we're very close and we supported each other. So I think in school, really at some point, there was really not a difference between if you were a guy or if you were a girl. I really didn't really feel much different. It was just about doing your work and doing your courses and all. So I think it was a lot of fun. The guys treated us well. They treated us as ladies. They didn't treat us as guys, but there was no discrimination. So I totally enjoyed the experience.
Yeah, with the guy and girl thing, I actually think at some point you stop noticing it.
Yeah,
just
exactly.
like they're your classmates, you know.
Yeah.
Well, funny enough, I went to an all-girls school, but I don't remember feeling like that when I started.
No, I did.
University. So next question. Why are you looking at the question? Next question. How is it now working as an engineer? Is it everything you dreamed of?
I don't know if I'll say it's everything I dreamed of, but I'll say I'm enjoying it a lot. It's a new experience every time. Luckily, I work in a field where I'm able to move roles. So I have opportunities to work in the office and opportunities to work in the field. So it's very interesting, it's very interactive, it's very engaging, but it's also very challenging as well. But I like the challenge actually. It's what makes the job interesting. It's a lot of working with people, sometimes people who are more experienced than you. You have to supervise them, you have to give them instructions. So yeah, learning to balance that was initially quite challenging for me, but over time I got a hang of it, and right now I've formed some of the best relationships I have with people who I've worked with in the field. I've formed lifelong friendships. So I think it's really been fun for me. It's really been fun, it's been interesting, and I'm really excited about each new day at work.
That's good. That's really good. And I think because you get to switch and do different things, it never really gets boring.
Exactly.
Yeah. So being female in engineering, particularly in a country like Nigeria, do you ever feel like people, what's the word now? Do you ever feel, I want to say belittle, but I don't think belittle is the word, but that's just underestimate you because you're a female, or don't want to listen to you, or take you for granted, like you don't know what you're doing because you're a female in engineering?
So I'll say yes, to an extent it happens, but you have to prove your worth. So I remember when I joined my team. So my team is a relatively small team. We don't have a lot of females, but we have a few. And I came in and I didn't look like the other female engineers did. So I came in probably my long
fashionista,
my makeup
fashionista right here
on, and they didn't understand what was going on. Are you an engineer or are you in HR? What's going on? That was the perception there. And I remember one of the females, so it's interesting because it was actually a female that told me that when I go to the field, I wasn't going to succeed.
Can you imagine?
Yes, I remember that.
It's women that will do that. Women down.
I actually remember that, and it stuck with me. And I didn't even say anything. In my mind, I just said, you don't know me. You obviously don't know who you are talking to. And in my mind,
she say that?
Like, I'm going to show you. So I went to the field, and for me it was fun all along. Like there was it was just getting down to you doing your work. There was no discrimination. So I think what happens is that as a woman, people are always looking at you. Sometimes they are trying to evaluate you if you know your stuff, if you know your onions. And once you prove that you know your onions and you are willing to work hard, they give you that respect. Really, they give you that respect. So you really have to work twice as hard as a man would. So a man by default, he's there, and they already give him the respect. They believe he knows what he's doing. But as a woman, you have to prove that you know what you're doing. You have to let your voice be heard. Because if you don't let your voice, I have a small voice. Like I really have to put in effort for my voice to be loud. But I've learned that if I want my voice to be heard and not be overlooked, I have to actually make it loud. So I'll give you an example. So recently I was on a project where I was working as a supervisor, and I was one of the only females on that project, and I was working with some other men on the project who I worked with. So by default, every time they wanted to ask a question, initially because they were already on the project before I joined it, so they knew I was the supervisor. But anytime they wanted to ask a question, they would ask the guys first. So that irked me, and I had a conversation.
The guys supervisors as well.
So at that time, no, they were not. So that irked me. But what I did was I studied the environment, and I had some conversations with the people that, okay, if you have this question, you can ask me about it. Or sometimes I would just provide more answer or more clarity to what the other person had said. And over time, I saw that switch was coming. So instead of asking them, or they could ask them, and they would also ask my opinion as well. So it's just, you always have to work hard. You always have to prove your worth. You always have to be on your toes. So I think, it's something we battle every day. But
okay. So if someone came to you and said, I'm female in engineering, it's really difficult, I feel like people don't take me seriously, your advice would be prove yourself, work hard, and
focus on the job. Really, I would say don't be distracted by what other people are saying. It doesn't really make a difference if people are saying, oh, people always talk, female, she's doing this. No, just leave that aside. Do your job, make sure you get it done. Make sure nobody has anything negative to say about what you do. Let your job be flawless, and your job will speak for you. So I would say, do not be concerned with what people are talking. People will always talk. Focus on the job. That's what they're paying you for.
And guys, I know we are talking about engineering and being female in engineering, but I feel like this is something that applies anywhere. Even if you're a guy, if you are doing your work, you should focus on it and try to be the best, so that no one has anything negative to say about what you do. So last question, if you could go back, would you still study chemical engineering?
Absolutely, I think I would. Sometimes I reflect on what else would I be doing now, but I think I love my job. I enjoy what I do. I like the path that it's taking me on. I've met so many different people, I've had so many different experiences, and there's still so many more I'm looking forward to. So I think definitely I'll study chemical engineering, and I'm also encouraging other young ladies out there to give it a shot. It's a really interesting thing.
Any other form of engineering, like electrical or software?
Yeah, but generally I would say ladies should embrace engineering and not be phased by being women. It's an asset. You do your best, so you do it well. So I think that if you're really naturally interested in engineering, don't shy away from it. It's a great field to be in.
I feel like I've learned a lot. Thank you, Uwar, for coming on my show.
Thanks for having me, and it was great. It was great talking about this experience.
I enjoyed it too.
Alright.
Hope you guys enjoyed it too, and hope you feel like you learned something. Don't forget to leave a comment. She's subscribed. like you should subscribe as well. But yeah, if you have questions, I'm sure she'll be willing to answer you in the comment section. Thank you for watching. Again, please leave a comment, and if you are not subscribed, please subscribe. As this female engineer reminds us today, impossible is nothing.